Hello, welcome to BIOL1309. Today, this video, we're going to talk about seedless vascular plants. So, we haven't reached the seeded plants or the flowering plants yet, but we are going to talk about some very special plants. Ones that are quite cute and funny and love to be, and stegosauruses love to eat them, I think. They're ferns and their friends, okay? Ferns and fern allies. They make up the seedless vascular plants. So I'm just gonna read off some terrible names here. So Lycophyta, Pteridophyta, Saphenophyta, and Pteridophyta. Okay, just a side note here. I did take a bit of digging, like today, and I've realized these were phylums. These were at some point phylums, but after some revision or just some changes, these are no longer phylums. They were placed at a much lower classification of like a subclass or a class or whatever, like a division, some strange placements. I'm not sure what they are anymore, but that's I realized it wasn't really too important in terms of how you understand them because they're still like their own group of stuff. So, little tangent out of the way, let's first talk about Lycophyta, the club mosses. There are three orders. We have the Lycopodialis. I'm I'm gonna butcher all these names. Selaginellales and Isotelalis. These are the three orders. And first one, the Locopodialis. Oh jeez. Right. Remember from last video, all of these are sporophytes that are diploid. They are not gametophytes that are haploid with one set of chromosomes. Okay. In vascular plants, all of the dominant individuals are sporophytes. They have aerial stems, so that the stems are like touching the air, and then rhizome, which are horizontally running stems. You will see a photo later. Okay, so stems have protostele, where it's the interspersed version, where the xylem is interspersed in the phloem, and both of these are in the center and as the core. Leaves are microphylls, needle-like. See here. And then they have the strobili, which is the sporangia bearing structure at the very tip of the stems. Just a little bit of wood here, strobilus, strobili. All right. So this is a cross section of a strobilus here. So you have sporophylls, which are, you could think of them as sporangia leaves. So sporophylls, sporangia leaves. It's not too big of a deal, just remember the name. And then the sporangium, you've seen it many times. Right, so life cycle, the egg and sperm fuse to form the zygote, and then the sporophyte grows out of the gametophyte, and then it forms into the adult plant with roots. This is the rhizome, the horizontal root, the horizontal stem, sorry. And then you have the leaves, the microphyll, and the strobilus. Okay, so the sporangium here that contains the sporocytes, which are just mother cells of the spores. These are the mother cells are the cells that would carry out meiosis later to form the spores. And then the sporophyll, which I'm not too sure, but I think it's like follows this. It follows it, or this is just like a cross section, like turn 90 degrees. I'm not 100% sure what's the use of the sporophyll in terms of reproduction, but anyways, the sporocytes undergo meiosis to form spores. In this case, a tetrad is shown, just that the tetrad is just four daughter cells kind of stuck together, still together really, and then they form into the gametophyte, where it is bisexual, with archegonium that produce egg and the antheridium that produce the sperm, which can allow self-fertilization to form a zygote. Right. This here, you can see, is homosporous. Only one kind of spore is produced, and the gametophyte is tiny, but free living. All right, remember the difference. And wait later, the next example is heterosporous. Ooh. All right, order Selanginales. I'm not gonna butcher. I'm gonna butcher everything. Am I? Small herbs, sporophyte again, diploid, rhizomes, areostomes, protostele. This one is the simple xylem in the middle, surrounded by phloem. And this is the thing. Okay, so rosospores, which are kind of like underground stems, so to speak. It's not necessarily roots. It's kind of like it's again for support. Okay, so for the leaves, there are two type of leaves for Selanginales. It's dimorphic, not two types, but two forms. One is called the ventral leaf, and the other is called the dorsal leaf. The dorsal leaf are, you can see, a bit smaller in this case, while the ventral leaf is larger. Both the dorsal and the ventral leaves have this ligule, like this little spike structure, that are not present in the previous order that we mentioned. Okay, no ligule in the Lycopodias. All right, so for the strobilus, same thing. Sporangia bearing, and this time you see there are two types of sporangia, right? This is the heterosporus that we're talking about, and there's the microsporangia, which contains the microspores, the male spores, and the megasporangia, which contains the female spores that are the megaspores. So that makes it heterosporous. And then the microsporophyll and the megasporophyll just means that this leaf, this sporophyll, is associated with the microsporangia, and this sporophyll, this leaf, is associated with the megasporangia. Okay, this is the microsporangia. This is for the microsporangia. This is for the megasporangia. Do not confuse these terms. So be careful. Microsporophylls and megasporophylls, as well as microphylls and megaphylls. These two are talk about general leaves, okay? While these two specifically talk about sporophylls, or under the category of sporophylls. And at the same time, in this case, the microsporophylls are the microsporophylls and megasporophylls are both microphylls. So they're both small leaves, so to speak. And this is another life cycle where the cycle is formed and then the young sporophyte grow into the adult in different strobilus or sporbili. And the megasporocytes, the mother cells of the megaspores, would produce megaspores through meiosis, while the microsporocytes would produce microspores. Again, the megasporophyll and the microsporophyll is here. I'm not sure why. And then these microspores here would become the male gametophyte with the amphidurium to produce flagellated sperm. Needs water. This needs water. While the megaspores would develop into the archegonium. Oh no, sorry, the female gametophyte with archegonium that has the egg, and then it allows fusing. Right. Again, I want to emphasize endosporous gametophytes. These gametophytes, you see, they never leave the spore. They are still sort of living inside the spore. Like maybe it has tiny extensions, but overall it will not like grow any bigger, too big, much bigger than the spore. It's a very similar size or even always inside. Okay, right. So then we will stop here. Because Cleve ended the lecture here, so I can only cover that much. So next video, I'm going to talk about everything here, and I'm going to also edit that video and combine it with this video so that you can have one big video for you to watch. And you don't need to like press or go to a different video for the same category of content, I would say. Anyways, you don't need to worry about the content I just talked about disappearing. It's still going to be here. It's going to be the exact same. That just that this video would be combined with the next video to talk in well to basically have a full video about these seedless vascular plants. So I hope you have enjoyed it here. Yeah, so I will see you next time. Bye bye.